So 2 years ago, I started working with a hedge fund manager, and despite his success, his he was super frustrated with his body. It just wasn't changing. And he told me, I used to be able to drop 10 pounds super easily in just a few weeks by cutting out carbs, hitting the gym harder. And now I'm just working twice as hard, but now I have half the results. And my trainer just keeps pushing me to do more cardio. I'm eating less food, but I'm so tired and the scale is barely moving. In fact, if I eat a little bit too much, if I eat a little bit of carbs, I gain all of this weight. This is not just Richard's experience, one of my clients. I've heard this same story hundreds of times from very, very successful men. They're doing everything right according to conventional fitness, but they're super tired. They're really, really frustrated and they're not seeing the results. It's not because they lack discipline or commitment. These are some of the most driven people on the entire planet, yet they are still struggling with their body image and their weight and their energy. I'm Dr. Dexu, former official UFC physical therapist, and I've worked with over 1,200 high performing men transforming their body and reclaiming their energy and their presence. In my previous video, I talked about why most fitness programs fail for a lot of successful men and the specific challenges that executives and business owners face when they're trying to get in shape. Today, I'm going to share the fundamental truth why most fitness professionals won't tell you. They just won't tell you this, and why it changes everything about how men over the age of 35 should really approach fitness from an energy optimization standpoint. This is really the reality of aging for a lot of high performers. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed the strategies that worked perfectly in your 20s, heck, your 30s, suddenly just stopped giving you results? Despite eating cleaner, training harder, your body just seems to be almost fighting against it. This is not your imagination. Like, you're not alone. This happens all the time. And this is kind of like one of our clients. He's 51 years old. He's a founder. And he told me, I feel like my body is betraying me. I built a $100 million business from absolutely nothing. I can solve these really complicated problems. I can hire the right people, put the right people in place. But I can't seem to figure out why I have this crazy amount of stubborn belly fat that just won't budge no matter what I do. Another client of mine, he's an executive, he's 49 years old, and he shared how embarrassing he was or how he felt when he had to make the excuse for himself from a client, golf, he was there golfing and he was just way too tired. He was way too tired to finish the round. And he told me, I was just standing there with guys who are 10, 15 years younger than me. And, I was just completely drained. I was just so tired. I was about to make an emergency call because the truth was I just didn't really have the energy. And these moments do more than just frustrate you physically. They create a profound disconnect between how you see yourself as a high achiever, an unstoppable force in your professional life, and the physical reality that you experience daily. Here's the reality that changed everything for most of my successful clients. As you get older, you simply don't have the same body or time that you have had in your 20s or 30s. Your hormones are just completely changing. Your metabolism is slowing down. Your recovery capacity is diminishing. And here's the critical insight. Pushing harder and just training using the conventional approaches, doing a bunch more burpees and a bunch of cardio, cutting out carbs, it doesn't solve this problem. It makes things a lot worse. What you actually need is an individualized program specifically aimed at building your metabolism for the most part and optimizing your body for performance. It's not just about losing fat and getting to 10% body fat while feeling drained. Like that's completely pointless because you're not going to be able to do it. But it's about getting to 10% body fat in the most easiest, efficient way, feeling energized, powerful, and like mentally sharp. You want that. This fundamental approach in life is what really makes the biggest difference for men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s. Think about it like this. You wouldn't run a sophisticated business using outdated strategies. You wouldn't be like promoting your business on newspaper as your primary mechanism for marketing, right? There's social media, there's higher leverage things. Yet, when it comes to your body, you're likely just still following the principles that is designed for a completely physiological different market. The market of those who are in their 20s, who have unlimited time. They can train at the gym literally for like 3-4 hours a day. They don't have work stress. They don't have family obligations. They don't have cortisol through the roof, right? And so what is the toll of this? The real cost of following conventional fitness advice goes far beyond just really, really bad physical results, right? There's a profound emotional and psychological impact that no one ever talks about. And I've seen this hundreds of times with super successful men. First comes the frustration, you're doing everything right, yet you barely see results. You increase your effort, you cut more calories, you add more cardio, and still the progress is still really, really slow. Then comes the self-doubt. You start to question, oh man, is it my discipline? Is it my commitment? You know, despite being really, really good in other areas of your life. And then you start to wonder, man, is this just it? Am I just getting old? Should I just accept the decline? Like, is it true that I'm just gonna like deteriorate? Next comes the identity conflict. There's a massive growing gap between how you see yourself as someone who excels and overcomes challenges and your physical reality. The disconnect creates a constant low grade stress that affects everything. Everything as soon as you wake up. Then there's isolation. And you don't talk about these struggles because successful men are supposed to have everything figured out, right? So you internalize the frustration, which only compounds the problem. I remember one of my clients, he's a CEO, he's 53 years old, and he told me, dude, I felt like a fraud. I was leading my company of 500 people, making decisions that could impact millions of dollars. Yet I couldn't solve this one personal challenge. I stopped going to the pool with my family because I felt really embarrassed. I was declining social invitations because I didn't want people to see what was actually happening to my body. I was literally hiding it. And this wasn't just about aesthetics. It's about the fundamental disconnect between your identity as a high performer and the physical reality. So here's why conventional fitness approaches actually work against your biology after the age of 35. Most programs are just built on a simple equation. Just eat less and move more, bro. Cut out your calories, do more cardio, push harder. For a 25-year-old with like optimal hormones, you know, no stress, right? When you're 20 years old, you can just do whatever you want. You're probably in school, studying, whatever it is. You have a ton of energy, you can recover quick. This works pretty well. The body can adapt really, really well because it can handle the stress and there's not that much. You can just adapt quickly. But for men over the age of 35, just 10 years different, your metabolism slows down. High performers, specifically in like professional settings, demanding careers, the approach creates a complete perfect storm of problems. The reason why is it because it further depletes already declining testosterone levels. Your cortisol is already through the roof. So if you're just doing a bunch of burpees or you're just doing high intensity training, meanwhile your cortisol is through it, your CNS, your central nervous system, is going to be like this, right? And if you're just training like nonchalant, no systems, right, it's gonna increase that cortisol level, which will then promote more belly fat storage. From here, you can start to reduce your metabolic rate. Why? Because then now you're starting all these like crazy fad diets. As you start to cut out your carbs, your metabolism starts to slow down to adapt to the newer levels of your caloric intake. Therefore, if all you're doing right now is just dropping your calories and there's no system around this, the next time you go through a calorie deficit after you finish yo-yoing again, it makes fat loss way harder. From here on top of that, like if you're not managing your hormones, your sleep quality will start to go down. It's gonna impair recovery, it's gonna impair your energy levels, and I just saw this for a ton of CEOs, right? And I have the CEO, he's 52 years old, he's doing these like 5 a.m. like HIIT workouts, Peloton, and it's super restrictive diet. He's eating like 13 or 1400 calories, right? And he's exhausted, he's irritable. His weight loss has completely stalled. I see this all the time. His heart rate variability, which is something that we use with an Oura Ring, his readings show that his body was just in a constant state of stress, just not able to recover. And the worst part, he was blaming himself. He wasn't questioning his approach. He was just dropping his calories, right? And it's such a common thing. And through working with hundreds, thousands of entrepreneurs at this point, right, I've identified specific pain points that are super unique to high achieving men over the age of 35. The first thing is the energy crisis. You find yourself relying on coffee just to get through the day, right? 2, 3 p.m., you start to crash, you want to take a nap. It's almost become normal. You push through like important meetings just through willpower all alone. And knowing that you're not able to operate at full capacity, you just know that you're not giving it all. And one client described to me this specific feeling like my brain is working at 60% when I need it to be at 100%. The other aspect that we often see is the recovery gap. You notice that stress affects you more than it used to. After a super demanding day, you need way longer just to bounce back. Exercise, which used to actually energizes you, it just makes you feel completely depleted. It just gets you gassed, right? And one of my clients kind of told me, I feel like my battery doesn't charge back to 100% anymore. I always feel like I'm operating at a deficit. Another aspect is the confidence aspect. Your confidence starts to erode. And this one is rarely ever discussed, but it's so profound. Your physical presence no longer matches your professional stature, your success in your career. You find yourself choosing clothes to hide your body rather than enhance your presence. You're conscious of how you look in meetings, wondering if, hey man, like, is this person actually noticing my gut? I'm pulling my shirt down right now, right? And from here, you start to question your authority and even your appearance. The other aspect is your sleep. The quality of your sleep is almost like elusive. You may fall asleep from exhaustion, but you wake up super unrefreshed. Right? You wake up already tired. And many clients report the 3 a.m. anxiety hour where they wake up with racing thoughts around work, you're not able to sleep, and it creates like a vicious cycle. Then this affects everything, your decision making to emotional regulations. You become hungrier throughout the day. It's harder for you to operate. The other aspect, I know we're going through quite a bit right now, but the compounding stress effect. Work stress just piles up. It piles up, and you have way more physiological stress from improper training, nutrition, and you create a compounding effect. Your body can't really distinguish the difference between a difficult negotiation and a too intense workout. It's all interpreted as stress from your central nervous system. This needs to be completely managed. And we have a partner at one of our clients, he's a partner at a law firm. And he basically said this: I feel like I'm trapped in a downward spiral. Work stress affects my sleep. Poor sleep affects my workout. Ineffective workout affects my body composition, which then increases my stress, and round it goes. So, what actually works is completely different to this. How we can actually solve this for a lot of high performer is what I call the optimized performance protocol. Instead of just fighting against your changing biology, we need to work with it. Instead of just depleting your system further, we need to focus on optimizing it, building your metabolic foundation. And here's what we did with one of our clients. All we did was we focused on building his intrinsic muscle tissue. The smaller, less active muscles, everyone has really, really strong muscles, and everyone has really, really weak muscles. And these weaker muscles are like these small gas tanks. They're untapped. Once you actually build up these muscle mass in these like untapped area that's not really used, metabolic active, you build up the capacity so they're small and they get into bigger gas tanks. From here, what do you think happens to your energy levels? Yeah, it starts to go up. But what do you think happens to your metabolic rate? These smaller underdeveloped muscles will start to increase in muscle mass. You require more resources, more energy requirement, and this in turn will increase your metabolic rate. From here, obviously the metabolism starts to increase, but then we implement an HRV guided training using heart rate variability data to determine when it's time to push harder and when it's time to prioritize recovery, rather than just following like a really rigid schedule. Because this in itself, if you don't have this, your cortisol is going to go through the roof. From here, we built a progressive nutritional approach, starting with adequate protein and nutrients, and then giving him a strategic framework that allows him to still go to client dinner, still go do these things, still travel, but live his best life without the super restrictive aspect that you often see with a lot of bodybuilding programs. The results? In 12 weeks, one of our clients lost 27 pounds. He gained 4 pounds of muscle. His energy levels literally doubled. His sleep quality improved by 42% according to his tracking data. And more importantly, he maintained this while closing 2 of the biggest deals of his entire career. But the transformation went beyond just numbers, guys. It's outside of just the scale or even in the energy levels. And one of our clients, he told me for the first time in years, I feel like myself again. I'm not fighting my body anymore. We're on the same team. The mental clarity alone has been worth the entire investment. And this is what happens when you stop following these cookie cutter approaches, or you attend these group workout classes. If you look to the right, there's someone that's like 300 pounds. You look to the left, there's like post-menopausal woman that's like trying to lose her belly fat. You can't have the same system. It's completely different. The biology is completely different. The physiology is completely different. Everything is completely different, right? And so when you're able to stop following these cookie cutter approaches and start implementing a strategy that's specifically designed for your unique biology and your lifestyle as a high performing man over the age of 35, there's so many things that will change. This optimized approach doesn't just transform your body. It doesn't just transform your body, guys. It transforms your entire professional performance. When you optimize your metabolism rather than depleting it, three big things are going to happen. Number one is your energy just becomes way more consistent and sustainable throughout the day. There's no more of these afternoon crashes during these critical meetings. Your cognitive function will start to improve, right? You're going to have better decision making, you're going to feel sharper, you have more creativity. Your resilience to stress will increase dramatically. That means you're going to recover faster from a higher pressure situation. And this is what happened with one of our clients. Again, he's a managing partner at a major law firm. And after switching to this optimized approach, he just noticed that he was the only person who remained mentally sharp during the final hours of a 14-hour negotiation. His counterparts were literally on his fourth coffee, making mistakes, getting super tired, irritable, getting sleepy. But he remained calm, focused, and in control. It was literally like having an unfair advantage, he told me. I could see like the mental fog setting in for everyone else, but my mind was crystal clear. I closed that deal on terms that wouldn't have been possible if I had been operating at the diminished capacity that I was used to. Or consider one of my other clients, his name is James. For the first time in years, I have energy left for my family at the end of the day. I'm not just surviving in my schedule, I'm thriving in it. I'm truly thriving. And my wife actually asked me, what changed? Because I'm so much more present, I'm engaged in the evenings instead of just collapsing on the couch. Guys, this isn't about vanity metrics or just looking good. That's important too. It's about optimizing your most valuable asset, your physical and mental capacity to perform at your highest level in every single domain of life. So what is the actual key from this? What makes this approach very, very different is that it's fundamentally individualized. That's truly what it is. Your biology is completely different, but the optimized performance protocol uses data to pinpoint and tailor the approach to your exact body, lifestyle, and goals. Your HRV monitoring is really determining what is the optimal training window for you. Your metabolic rate assessment is here to actually allow you to create a customized nutrition framework, not just a meal plan, but a framework that allows you to eat in freedom, to not have to be trapped from looking at certain foods, but actually have a framework to be able to enjoy alcohol once in a while and still live your best life. Your recovery capacity metric is really used to balance the stimulus specifically around your central nervous system and your stress levels. Then the stress response patterns is integrated with the professional demands that you just don't see when you're in your 20s. This here isn't a one-size-fits-all program. It truly is sophisticated. It's an optimization system for sophisticated men who truly understand that excellence requires intelligent strategy and not just brute force effort. Think about how you approach business challenges. You don't just apply generic solutions. You analyze a specific situation, you identify leverage points, and you implement targeted strategies every single quarter. Your body deserves that same level of strategic thinking. As one client just put it, the approach respects my intelligence. It's not just eat chicken and broccoli and work out more. It's a sophisticated system that acknowledges the complexity of my body and my lifestyle. And for the first time, I feel like my fitness approach matches the level of strategic thinking I apply to my business. And the most profound changes often have little to do with the scale or the mirror. I remember one of my clients, he's a 54-year-old investor, and he came to our fourth check-in with an unexpected story. He basically told me that last week, I was presenting to our board, and in the past, I'd be, thinking about how my suit would fit, what other people would actually think about me, like whether my belly was visible, if I looked tired. This time, I wasn't even thinking about any of that. I was just present. I was just fully present and in the moment, fully engaged, listening to other people, listen to what they're actually saying instead of thinking about my belly while they're talking. The confidence in both my content and my presence completely changed. It changed my entire dynamic of my presentation. Or there's another executive that we're working with, And he said, my 12-year-old son asked me to teach him how to work out. And he said he wanted me to be strong just like me. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have known what to say. I was embarrassed about my own fitness. Now, I'm not just telling my kids about excellence, I'm showing them what it looks like to pursue it in every single domain. These transformations extend into every single aspect of life. Leadership presence that command attention without saying a word, confidence that permeates professional and personal interactions, mental stamina that outlasts competitors in a high-stakes situation, the physical capacity that keeps up with much younger colleagues, the energy reserves for people, the activities that matter most. This is what becomes possible when you stop fighting against your body and start optimizing it using an approach that's specifically designed for your unique biology and lifestyle. So let me ask you the last question. What would it mean for you, for your professional performance, if you had double or even triple the energy right now? How would it impact your leadership presence if you walked into every single room feeling completely, physically, and mentally optimized? What would change if you no longer had that nagging disconnect between your professional excellence and your physical reality? Let me know in the comments which aspects of this resonates with you most, whether it's the energy, the metabolic optimization, the performance enhancement, or something else completely different. I've developed a complete system based off of these principles, specifically for busy executives, high performers, and entrepreneurs who want to optimize their physical and mental performance. If you want to learn more, click the link in the description for a free training that I did that completely breaks down the entire approach. And if you found this valuable, subscribe to my channel for more content designed for specifically high-performing men who refuse to settle for anything less than excellence in every single domain of life. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.